The first shot came from the Corvani flagship. A beam of pure energy cut through space and hit the human ship Thunder. Captain Yuna Choi and her crew of 43 people died instantly as their ship exploded in a ball of fire. Captain June Park watched from the bridge of the Defiant as his friend's ship disappeared. He had known Yuna since they were both cadets. She had been planning to marry her boyfriend next month. "All ships return fire," June said quietly into his communicator. His voice was calm, but his hands were shaking with anger. The 12 human ships opened fire with everything they had. Their weapons were weak compared to the alien technology, but the humans had one advantage the Corvani did not expect. They were not afraid to die. The Soul's Pride, commanded by Captain Yuna's younger brother Min Park, flew straight at the nearest Corvani ship. The aliens fired at him, but Min did not try to dodge. Instead, he aimed his ship directly at the alien vessel's weapon systems and kept firing until his ship exploded against their hull. Commander Velthar watched the attack with surprise. The human ship had done serious damage to his cruiser before being destroyed. That was not supposed to happen. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "the humans are not fighting like any enemy we have faced before. They are not trying to retreat when damaged. They are becoming more aggressive." Velthar frowned. In every battle the Corvani had ever fought, the enemy tried to survive. When their ships were damaged, they pulled back to repair. When they were outnumbered, they retreated to fight another day. But these humans were doing the opposite. On Earth, Dr. Hana Kim worked frantically in her underground laboratory. She had managed to scan the alien ships during the first exchange of fire. What she found made her both hopeful and terrified. The alien technology was incredibly advanced, but it followed patterns that human computers could understand. More importantly, the aliens seemed to fight in very predictable ways. They stayed in formation, used standard tactics, and followed rules of warfare that humans had never heard of. "Tae Yang," she called to her assistant, a young man who had graduated from military academy just last year. "Look at these energy patterns. The aliens charge their weapons the same way every time. If we can predict when they're about to fire..." Tae Yang studied the data on his screen. He was brilliant at military strategy, even though he had never fought in a real battle. "We could warn our ships to dodge at exactly the right moment, but our communication system is too slow." "Then we make it faster," Hana said. She started typing commands into her computer. "Get me a direct link to Captain Park's ship." In space, the battle was going badly for the humans. They had lost 4 ships already, while the aliens had only lost 2. But something strange was happening. Every time the Corvani destroyed a human ship, the remaining humans fought harder, not weaker. Captain June Park received Hana's call just as another human ship exploded nearby. It was the Busan Defender, commanded by his old friend Captain Sue Park. Sue had saved June's life during training 3 years ago. "June," Hana's voice crackled through the communication system. "I can predict when they're going to fire, but you have to trust me completely. When I say move, you move immediately." "No questions." "Understood," June replied. Around him, his crew worked desperately to keep their weapons firing and their ship moving. Young engineer Hyun Kim crawled through the maintenance tunnels under the ship's main deck. He was trying to boost the power to their weapons by connecting systems that were never meant to work together. It was dangerous and probably impossible, but Hyun did not care. He had grown up reading stories about human heroes who never gave up. "Captain," called communications officer Sue Park. Not the dead captain, but a young woman with the same name. "I'm picking up alien communication signals. They're not encrypted very well. I think I can understand some of it." June looked at her with surprise. "You can understand alien language?" "Not the words, but the patterns. They use numbers and coordinates just like we do. I think they're getting worried about something." She was right. On the Corvani flagship, Commander Velthar was studying the battle reports with growing concern. Yes, the aliens were winning, but they were losing ships much faster than expected. Worse, the human tactics made no sense. "Sir," his science officer reported, "the humans seem to be adapting to our weapons in real time. This last ship dodged our fire 3 times in a row. That should be impossible with their primitive technology." Velthar stared at the tactical display. The humans now had only 7 ships left, but those 7 ships were fighting like demons. They had learned to predict Corvani attack patterns and were coordinating their movements perfectly. Dr. Hana Kim had managed to hack into the alien communication, Network with help from Tai Yang. They could not understand the alien language, but they could see the tactical information the aliens shared with each other. June, Hana said through the communicator. 3 alien ships are moving to surround you. They'll fire in 15 seconds. Turn left and accelerate when I say now. Now! June's ship turned just as 3 powerful energy beams passed through the space where they had been a moment before. The Defiant's weapons fired back, and one of the alien ships took serious damage. Engineer Hyun Kim had managed to increase their weapon power by 30%, but the effort had damaged their ship's engines. The Defiant was now slower than before, but its guns hit much harder. Captain, Sue Park called out, I'm reading something strange in the alien communications. I think they're talking about retreating. June could not believe it. Retreating. But they're winning. I know, sir. But they've lost 15 ships now. Maybe that's more than they expected. Commander Velthar was indeed thinking about retreat. This was supposed to be an easy victory, but the humans were proving to be far more dangerous than anyone had predicted. His fleet was still much stronger, but at this rate, the battle might cost him 50 ships or more. Sir, his communications officer said, we're receiving another message from that unknown source. Play it, Velthar ordered. The same ancient voice filled the bridge. You have made your choice. You attacked them. Now you belong to them. They will never stop hunting you, never. This time no one laughed. The battle continued for 6 more hours. When it finally ended, the humans had only 3 ships left, including Captain June Park's damaged Defiant. But the Corvani had lost 37 ships and many more were badly damaged. More importantly, something had changed. The surviving human crews were different now. They had seen their friends die, their homes threatened, their people attacked. The fear was gone, replaced by something much more dangerous. Cold, patient anger. Dr. Hana Kim had recorded everything during the battle. Every alien ship design, every weapon type, every tactical pattern. She had enough data to start building better human technology. Tai Yang had analyzed the alien military psychology. He now understood how they thought, how they planned, how they made decisions. Engineer. Hyun Kim had learned how to modify human ships to be more powerful. Communications. Officer Sue Park had figured out how to intercept and decode alien messages. And Captain June Park had learned the most important lesson of all. Humans could not match alien technology ship for ship, but they could outthink, outadapt, and outstubborn any enemy in the galaxy. Commander Velthar ordered his fleet to retreat to a safe distance. He needed time to think, to plan, to understand what had gone wrong. He did not know that the humans were already planning their next move. The battle was over, but the war was just beginning, and the humans had no intention of fighting fair. 3 weeks had passed since the first battle. Commander Velthar thought he had learned his lesson. The humans were tougher than expected, but they were still just one small planet with a few damaged ships. Time was on his side. He decided to try a different approach. Instead of fighting the human military, he would break their spirit by attacking their cities. Surely these creatures would surrender once they saw their homes burning. Velthar chose the city of New Busan as his target. It was a large coastal city with over 2 million people. Most of them were civilians, workers, families, children. The attack came without warning. The orbital bombardment lasted 3 hours. When it was over, New Busan was gone. The city where Captain Min Lee had grown up, where his wife and 2 young children lived, was nothing but smoking ruins. Min Lee was on patrol in his fighter when he received the news. He tried to contact his family, but there was no answer. His wife Jin Ae, his 5-year-old daughter So Young, and his 3-year-old son Dae Ho were all dead. The communication officer who gave him the news expected Min Lee to break down, to cry, to ask for leave to grieve. Instead, Min Lee's voice became very quiet and very calm. How many civilian ships do we have available? He asked. Sir? Cargo ships, transport vessels, mining craft, anything that can fly in space. How many? About 300, sir. But they're not military ships. They have no weapons, no armor. They will, Min Lee said. On Earth, the news of New Busan's destruction spread quickly. Instead of breaking human spirit, it had the opposite effect. Millions of people volunteered to fight. Factories that had been making cars and computers started making weapons and ship parts. Scientists worked around the clock to improve human technology. Dr. Hana Kim had not slept in 3 days. She was leading a team of 500 researchers in an underground facility, studying every piece of alien technology they had captured from the battle. Her assistant, Tae Yang, had become her second in command, coordinating with military strategists around the world. "We have a breakthrough," announced Dr. Bo Kim, one of her top engineers. "The alien energy shields work on a rotating frequency. If we can match that frequency, our weapons will go right through their defenses." Hana looked up from her computer screen with tired eyes. "How long to build new weapons?" "With the new factories working at full capacity? 2 weeks. Make it 1 week," Hana said, "and start working on tracking devices. I want to know where every alien ship goes." Captain June Park was no longer just commanding one ship. After the first battle, Earth's leaders had promoted him to admiral and given him command of all human military forces. His new fleet included the 3 surviving warships from the first battle, plus 50 new ships built with improved technology. The new ships were smaller and faster than the originals, designed for hit-and-run attacks rather than direct confrontation. Each one carried the new shield-penetrating weapons that Hana's team had developed. But June's most dangerous weapon was not technology. It was the 300 civilian ships that Min Lee had gathered. Cargo haulers, mining vessels, transport craft, all of them had been modified with weapons and armor. More importantly, they were all crewed by volunteers who had lost family and friends in the alien attack. "Sir," reported Yeon Seo, a former smuggler who had joined the military after New Busan was destroyed, "we have located the alien fleet. They're hiding in the asteroid belt near Jupiter, making repairs." June studied the tactical display. The aliens had chosen a good defensive position, surrounded by rocks that would make direct attack difficult. They probably thought they were safe there. They were wrong. "Prepare the civilian fleet," June ordered. "We're going hunting." The attack came from 3 directions at once. June's military ships attacked from the front, drawing alien attention. Meanwhile, Min Lee led his civilian volunteers through the asteroid field, approaching from angles the aliens did not expect. The modified cargo ships were slow and clumsy, but they carried something the aliens had never seen before: ramming charges. When a civilian ship got close enough to an alien vessel, it would explode with enough force to cripple or destroy the much larger enemy ship. Commander Velthar watched in horror as 10 of his ships were destroyed by human suicide attacks. These were not military vessels. They were civilian craft crewed by ordinary people who chose to die rather than let the aliens escape. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "the humans have some kind of new weapon. Our shields are not stopping their fire." "Impossible," Velthar said, but he could see the evidence on his screen. Human ships that should have been helpless were cutting through Corvani defenses like they were paper. The battle lasted only 2 hours this time. When it was over, Belthar had lost 43 ships and hundreds of crew members. Worse, the human attacks had been perfectly coordinated. They knew exactly where to hit to cause maximum damage. "Retreat," Velthar ordered. "Full speed to the Proxima system." But as his fleet fled, something followed them. Long-range sensors detected small human ships staying just at the edge of detection range. The humans were not just winning the battle. They were tracking the alien fleet as it escaped. Dr. Hana Kim had indeed equipped the human ships with tracking devices based on alien technology. Every time the Corvani fleet stopped to rest or repair, human scouts found them and reported their location back to Earth. Tai Yang had studied alien psychology and developed a new strategy. Instead of trying to destroy the alien fleet in one big battle, the humans would attack them over and over, never letting them rest, never letting them recover. "They expect us to fight like civilized beings," Taeyang explained to June during a strategy meeting. "They think there are rules to warfare. But we're not fighting to be civilized. We're fighting for survival." Engineer Hyun Kim had been promoted to head of ship design. His new vessels were built for one purpose: hunting aliens across the galaxy. They were fast, stealthy, and equipped with weapons designed specifically to kill Corvani ships. Communications officer Sue Park had managed to fully decode the alien language. She now listened to every message the Corvani sent, learning their plans before they even carried them out. And Captain Min Lee had become something that would have terrified him before New Busan's destruction: a killer who felt no pity for his enemies. He led volunteer squadron after volunteer squadron on missions that were basically suicide attacks. and there was never a shortage of people willing to follow him. Commander Velthar tried to contact other alien species for help, but something strange happened. Every time he approached a potential ally, they would suddenly refuse to meet with him. It was as if someone had warned them away. He did not know that Yeon Seo had become humanity's first interstellar spy. Using her smuggling contacts, she had reached other alien civilizations and delivered a simple message from Earth. Help the Corvani, and you will face the same fate they do. 3 months after the destruction of New Busan, Velthar received another message from the unknown aliens who had warned him at the beginning. Now you understand, the voice said. You killed their children. They will follow you to the end of the galaxy. They will never stop. They will never forgive. Run while you can. This time Velthar did not laugh. He was beginning to understand that he had made a terrible mistake. The humans were not like other species. Other enemies fought to win territory or resources or honor. Humans fought to make sure their enemies never felt safe again. The hunt was just beginning. 6 months had passed since the first attack on Earth. Commander Velthar stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking at a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked everywhere his fleet had tried to hide. Each dot represented another failure, another defeat. His mighty fleet of 200 ships had been reduced to 47 vessels. They were low on fuel, short of supplies, and his crew was close to panic. Every time they stopped somewhere to rest, the humans found them. Sir, his navigation officer reported, we have been traveling for 3 weeks without stopping. The crew needs rest and our ships need repairs. Velthar rubbed his tired eyes. He had not slept properly in months. What about the Zephyr station? It's neutral territory. Even the humans would not attack us there. We tried that 2 months ago, sir. Remember? The humans did not attack the station, but they waited outside for us to leave. Then they followed us again. Velthar remembered. The humans had been patient, sitting in space for weeks just watching the station. When the Corvani finally had to leave for supplies, the human ships were waiting. They had lost 6 more vessels in that ambush. These humans did not fight like any enemy Velthar had ever faced. Normal armies tried to win quickly and then go home. But the humans seemed to have infinite patience. They followed, they watched, they waited, and they struck when their enemies were weakest. On Earth, Admiral June Park studied the latest reports from his scouts. The alien fleet was getting desperate. They had tried hiding in asteroid fields, abandoned star systems, and even dead space between galaxies. Nothing worked. Sir, reported Captain Yeon Seo, who had become his best spy and scout leader, the aliens just attempted to surrender to the Rigel Commonwealth. The Commonwealth refused to meet with them. June nodded. Yeon Seo had done excellent work spreading word throughout the galaxy. Every major alien government now knew that helping the Corvani would bring human attention to them as well. None of them wanted that. Dr. Hana Kim entered the command room carrying a datapad. She looked different now, thinner, harder, with the focused intensity of someone who had not stopped working for months. The new ships are ready, she announced. 200 vessels, all equipped with improved stealth technology and the latest weapons. Plus, I have a surprise for our alien friends. She handed the datapad to June. On the screen was a design for something that looked like a space station, but much smaller. Automated tracking satellites, Hana explained. We can deploy them throughout the galaxy. Each one will watch for Corvani ships and report their location back to us instantly. No matter where they go, we will know about it within hours. Tai Yang, now promoted to Chief Strategic Officer, pointed to a star map on the wall. It was covered with small flags marking human positions. We have agents on 47 different worlds now, he said. Former smugglers, traders, researchers, anyone who can blend in with local populations. The aliens cannot go anywhere without someone reporting their movements to us. Engineer Hyun Kim had been working on something even more ambitious. His new ships did not just use alien technology, they improved on it. Human vessels were now faster and more maneuverable than Corvani ships, with weapons that could punch through any defense the aliens had. But the most dangerous development was not technological. It was psychological. Captain Min Lee had become the leader of what humans called the Volunteer Corps, thousands of people who had lost family or friends to the alien attacks. They crewed the modified civilian ships that formed the backbone of the human fleet. These volunteers did not fight for money or glory or territory. They fought because they wanted every alien in the galaxy to know that attacking, Humans came with a price that never stopped being collected. We received a message from the Corvani fleet, reported Communications Officer Sue Park, who now ran the entire human intelligence network. They want to discuss terms for ending the conflict. June looked at the message on his screen. It was written in perfect human language, which meant the aliens had been studying human communications for months. The message was simple. We wish to negotiate an end to hostilities. We are willing to pay compensation for damages and withdraw from human space permanently. Please respond. June showed the message to his senior officers. They read it in silence. What do you think? He asked. Min Lee spoke first. My wife and children are still dead. Compensation will not bring them back. 2 million people died in New Busan, added Tai Yang. How do you compensate for that? Dr. Hana Kim was more practical. The aliens are getting desperate. That makes them unpredictable. They might try something stupid like attacking civilian targets again. June made his decision. He composed a response and sent it directly to Commander Velthar. Peace is not possible, the message read. We do not forgive. We do not forget. We do not stop. You attacked our home. You killed our people. You will never know peace again. This is not negotiable. When Velthar received the human response, he stared at it for a long time. His tactical officer waited nervously for orders. Sir, what are your instructions? Prepare the fleet for another jump, Velthar said quietly. We keep running. Sir, where can we go? The humans have contacts everywhere now. They know about every neutral port, every supply station, every hiding place. Velthar had been thinking about the same problem. The galaxy was huge, but it was not infinite. There were only so many places a fleet could hide, and the humans seemed to know about all of them. The dead zone, he said finally. We head for the galactic rim beyond the trade routes. Maybe there we can find somewhere the humans have not reached. His officers looked nervous. The dead zone was called that for good reason. It was the empty space at the edge of the galaxy where stars were few and planets were rare. Ships that went there often never came back, but it was better than staying where the humans could find them. The Corvani fleet jumped to hyperspace once again, heading for the most remote part of the galaxy they could find. Behind them, hidden human ships noted their departure and reported it back to Earth. Dr. Hana Kim smiled when she received the report. The dead zone was perfect for her purposes. It was isolated, with few places to hide and no friendly ports. Most importantly, she had already sent automated tracking satellites there 3 months ago. The aliens thought they were escaping to safety. Actually, they were flying into a trap. Admiral June Park gave his orders to the fleet. Begin Operation Final Hunt. All ships converge on the dead zone. It is time to finish this. Across the galaxy, human ships received the message and changed course. 200 military vessels, 300 volunteer ships, and dozens of support craft all headed toward the same destination. Commander Velthar thought he was running away from the humans. He did not know that he was actually running toward them. The final confrontation was about to begin. The dead zone was a fitting place for the end of the war. Here at the edge of the galaxy, old stars burned dim and cold. Planets were rare, and those that existed were barren rocks floating in the darkness. It was a place where civilizations came to die. Commander Velthar's fleet hung in the empty space around a dying red star. His 47 ships were arranged in a defensive circle, but everyone knew it was hopeless. They had been running for 2 years, and there was nowhere left to run. Sir, his sensor officer reported, human ships are approaching from all directions. I count over 500 vessels. Velthar nodded. He had expected this. The humans had been patient, driving his fleet toward this moment like hunters herding prey into a trap. Now they had him exactly where they wanted him. Open a communication channel, he ordered. The main screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of a human ship. Admiral June Park looked older than when Velthar had first seen him 2 years ago. His hair was gray now and his eyes were hard and cold. I wish to surrender, Velthar said. June studied him for a moment before replying. Surrender is not enough. Then what do you want? Justice, and a promise that this will never happen again. Behind June, Velthar could see other humans. Dr. Hana Kim, now Director of Human Space Operations, Captain Min Lee, whose family had died in New Busan, Tai Yang, who had become the architect of humanity's galactic strategy. All of them looked at Velthar with the same expression, not hatred but something colder and more frightening. They looked at him like he was a problem that needed to be solved permanently. "What are your terms?" Velthar asked. June handed him a datapad through the communication link. "The Corvani Empire will be dissolved. Your military will be disbanded. Your technology will be shared with humanity. Your people will serve as laborers and teachers, helping us to understand galactic civilization. In return, you will be allowed to live." Velthar read the terms in shocked silence. They were not just demanding surrender. They were demanding the complete destruction of everything the Corvani had built over 1,000 years. "This is impossible," he said. "You are asking us to cease to exist as a civilization. You ceased to exist as a civilization the moment you attacked our children," Min Li said from behind June. "We are just making it official." Velthar realized that he had no choice. His fleet was surrounded, his empire was in ruins, and his people were scattered across the galaxy as refugees. The humans had won completely. "I accept your terms," he said quietly. The formal surrender took place on the human flagship Unity, a massive vessel that had been built during the war using alien technology. Representatives from dozens of alien species came to witness the ceremony. They all wanted to see how the humans dealt with a defeated enemy. What they saw surprised them. The humans were not cruel to the surrendered Corvani. They were not tortured or executed or enslaved. Instead, they were given new identities and new purposes. Corvani scientists worked alongside human researchers. Corvani engineers helped build better ships. Corvani teachers shared their knowledge of galactic history and culture, but everyone understood the message. The Corvani Empire was gone forever, and it had been destroyed by a species that most aliens had never heard of 3 years ago. Dr. Hana Kim stood in her new office on the space station Unity, looking out at the ships of a dozen different alien species. She was now the director of the Human Galactic Intelligence Network, responsible for gathering information from across the galaxy. Her network had grown far beyond what anyone had imagined. Human agents worked on hundreds of worlds, not as conquerors but as traders, researchers, and diplomats. They offered friendship and beneficial deals to anyone who wanted them. But everyone remembered what had happened to the Corvani. Captain Yeon Seo entered the office carrying a report. She had become humanity's ambassador to the Galactic Council, the loose alliance of species that governed trade and diplomacy in this part of the galaxy. "The Council has officially recognized Earth as a major power," she announced. "We have been invited to establish embassies on 12 core worlds," Hana smiled. "And what about the warning system?" "Fully operational. Any species that shows aggressive intentions toward human space will be watched and warned. Most of them seem more interested in trade agreements than military action." The truth was that most alien species were terrified of humans, though they were too polite to say so directly. Humanity had appeared from nowhere and destroyed the most powerful empire in the galaxy in less than 3 years. They had done it not through superior technology, but through something much more frightening: absolute determination. Tae Yang, now serving as Earth's chief diplomatic strategist, had made sure that every alien government understood the lesson. Humans could be wonderful allies and trading partners. They shared technology freely, offered fair deals, and treated other species with respect, but they never forgot an attack. And they never forgave the murder of their people. On Earth, Admiral June Park stood in the memorial garden built where New Busan had once been. 2 million names were carved into black stone walls, including those of Min Li's family. The garden was beautiful and peaceful, but it served as a reminder of the price of attacking humanity. Min Li himself had retired from active military service, but he now ran the Memorial Corps, a group dedicated to ensuring that the galaxy remembered what had happened here. They maintained monuments on dozens of worlds, all carrying the same message: here lies proof that humans have long memories. Engineer Hyun Kim had become the head of human space development, designing the ships and stations that now protected human space. His vessels were the most advanced in the galaxy, combining the best of human innovation with technology learned from a dozen alien species. Communications Officer Sue Park directed the Galactic Monitoring Service, listening to every major communication network in known space. If any species even talked about attacking humans, she would know about it within hours. The network of tracking satellites that Dr. Hana Kim had deployed during the war now served a different purpose. Instead of hunting enemies, they monitored trade routes and provided early warning of pirates or other threats. Humanity had become the galaxy's unofficial police force, not because they wanted power, but because everyone else was afraid to oppose them. 6 months after the surrender, Commander Velthar worked in a human research facility on the edge of human space. He was helping to design better navigation systems for human ships, using his knowledge of galactic geography. It was not a bad life. The humans treated him well and his work was interesting. But every day he was reminded that his empire was gone, his fleet was destroyed, and his people were scattered across the galaxy. Sometimes he received messages from other alien leaders, asking for advice about dealing with humans. His response was always the same: do not fight them. Do not threaten them. Do not attack their civilians. If you do, they will hunt you across the galaxy until you surrender or die. This is not a threat or a promise. It is simply what they are. The unknown alien species that had sent the original warning finally revealed themselves. They were called the Vorthak, an ancient race that had once made the same mistake as the Corvani. They had attacked human space 300 years ago, when humans had barely learned to travel between stars. The war had lasted 50 years and ended with the complete destruction of the Vorthak Empire. The survivors had hidden at the edge of the galaxy ever since, watching and waiting. "We tried to warn you," their ambassador told the Galactic Council. "We knew what would happen. Humans are not like us. They do not fight for territory or resources or glory. They fight to make sure their enemies never feel safe again." The Vorthak had become humanity's first voluntary allies, sharing technology and information in exchange for protection. Other species soon followed their example. Within 5 years of the war's end, humanity had established the largest trading network in the galaxy. Human ships carried goods between worlds that had never dealt with each other before. Human scientists worked with alien researchers on projects that benefited everyone. Human diplomats mediated disputes between species that had been enemies for centuries. But everyone remembered the lesson of the Corvani Empire. Humanity was peaceful and generous to their friends, but their enemies discovered that humans had very, very long memories. The galaxy was a different place now, safer, more prosperous, more connected, and everyone knew why. As the inscription on every human embassy read, "Humanity seeks friendship and trade with all species. But remember, those who attack us will find that humans never let you escape." It was not a threat. It was simply the truth about what humans were. And the galaxy was a better place because of it. Commander Velthar stood on the bridge of his massive warship, looking out at the stars. His purple skin gleamed under the bright lights as he studied the reports on his screen. The Corvani Empire had ruled the galaxy for over 1,000 years. They had conquered hundreds of worlds and defeated countless enemies. Now they had found a new target: humans. The reports made Velthar laugh. These creatures lived on only one small planet in a tiny corner of the galaxy. They had just learned how to travel between stars a few years ago. Their weapons were simple and weak. Their ships looked like toys compared to Corvani warships. This would be the easiest conquest in the Empire's history. "Sir," called out his communications officer, "we have received a strange message." Velthar turned around. "What kind of message?" "It's from an unknown source. The signal is very old and the sender is not identified." "Should I play it?" "Yes, let me hear it." The bridge fell silent as a voice filled the room. It spoke in perfect Corvani language, but the accent was strange and ancient. "Do not attack the humans. They are not what they appear. They will never let you escape once provoked. This is not a threat. This is a warning from those who know." The message ended. Velthar stared at the communication panel for a moment, then burst into laughter. His officers joined him. "What a joke," Velthar said, wiping tears from his eyes. "The humans are trying to scare us with fake messages. They must be more desperate than we thought." Meanwhile, far away on Earth, Dr. Hana Kim sat in her laboratory in Seoul. She was working late again, studying the strange energy readings her sensors had picked up at the edge of the solar system. Something big was coming toward Earth, something that did not belong there. Hana had short black hair and wore thick glasses. She was one of Earth's best scientists, specializing in space technology. For months, she had been warning the government that aliens might exist and that Earth needed better defenses. Most people thought she was crazy. Her computer beeped. The energy signatures were getting stronger, much stronger. She grabbed her phone and called Captain June Park, the commander of Earth's newest warship. June was young for a captain, only 32 years old, but he was smart and brave. He had grown up poor in Busan but worked hard to become one of Earth's best pilots. "June, we have a problem," Hana said when he answered. "Those energy readings I told you about? They're getting closer. I think we're about to have visitors." June was on his ship, the Defiant, running training exercises with his crew. The Defiant was humanity's pride, their most advanced warship. But even June knew it was nothing special compared to what aliens might have. "How long do we have?" June asked. "Maybe a day, maybe less. The signals are moving faster than anything we've ever seen." June looked around his small bridge. His crew was young and inexperienced. They had never fought a real battle. Earth had 12 warships total, all similar to the Defiant. It was not much of a fleet. "I'll contact Defense Command," June said. "Get all your data ready. They'll want to see everything." In the capital city, Min-Ho Lee sat in the emergency meeting room deep underground. He was Earth's defense coordinator, responsible for protecting the planet from any threats. He was an older man with gray hair and worried eyes. Right now, he had good reason to worry. The room was full of military officers, scientists, and government officials. They all looked scared as they watched the main screen showing Hana's data. "So these aliens are definitely coming here?" asked General Wan, the head of Earth's military. "Yes," Hana replied through the video link. 200 ships, maybe more. They'll be here in less than 12 hours. The room fell silent. Everyone knew that Earth's 12 ships could not fight 200 alien vessels and win. "Maybe they come in peace," suggested someone. Minho shook his head. "Ships traveling in military formation don't come in peace. We need to prepare for the worst." Back on the Corvani flagship, Velthar reviewed the final battle plans with his officers. The attack would be simple and quick. First, they would destroy Earth's small fleet. Then they would bomb the major cities from orbit until the humans surrendered. It should take no more than a few hours. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "we have detected the human ships. 12 vessels total. They are moving to intercept us," Velthar smiled. 12 ships against our 200. These humans are either very brave or very stupid." His officers laughed again. None of them had ever lost a battle. The idea that humans could be dangerous seemed impossible. As the Corvani fleet entered the solar system, Captain June Park stood on the bridge of the Defiant. Around him, his crew worked quietly at their stations. Everyone knew this was probably their last day alive. "All ships, this is Captain Park," June said into his communicator. "Remember, we're not trying to win this fight. We're trying to buy time for the evacuation ships to get people to safety. Every minute we keep these aliens busy is another 1,000 lives saved." Dr. Hana Kim watched from her underground bunker as the alien ships appeared on her sensors. They were massive, each one bigger than Earth's largest city. Their weapons were so powerful that her instruments could barely measure them. On Earth's surface, people ran in panic as the news spread. The aliens were here, and Earth's military was about to face impossible odds. In space, the two fleets moved closer to each other, the humans in their small, simple ships, the aliens in their giant, advanced warships. None of the Corvani had ever heard of human history. They did not know about the wars humans had fought against each other. They did not know how humans reacted when their homes were threatened. They did not know that humans had a saying: "Never start a fight with someone who has nothing left to lose." Velthar looked at the approaching human ships and felt nothing but contempt. This would be over soon. He had no idea that he was about to make the biggest mistake in Corvani history. The unknown aliens who had sent the warning watched from far away. They remembered when they had made the same mistake centuries ago. They had attacked the humans and learned too late what the creatures from Earth were really capable of. But the Corvani would learn soon enough. The battle was about to begin.